Oh, look at that laser. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we revisit our most successful mad scientist experiment up to this point, and that is our classic modified disc, our true utility disc, the first flight changing disc. And right here in front of me, we have old V1, the nut and bolt, you could call it, the bare bones and the start of our journey. And bam. Once I realized that this actually had some potential, we ditched V1, this bulky, heavy, more of a paperweight than it is an actual disc, and we went to V2. We improved, we got a hole saw, we got rivets, we really tried to streamline this thing, make it effective, and honestly, we had pretty good results. But again, we found ourselves in a position where we needed to improve. So I want to introduce to you guys the newest version. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to build this one on a disc golf bench. This one required a little more machinery, but I would like to introduce to you guys V3. As you can see, they look great. Now, to be fair, this is actually V3 and this is V4. There were a few problems that did come into play on V3. And right here, you know, we have our secondary flight plate and it's held in by these little plastic clips. Now, the problem was it didn't work. Now, when I throw this thing hard, it'll pop right out. Those 4 little clips were not good enough. So in V4, the entire ring is put in. There's no clips, there's just an entire secondary rim holding our bottom plate into place. Now, to be fair, this thing does still need some tweaking, and honestly, I don't know how it's going to handle a proper tree hit. So that's gonna be the focus of today's video. I'm gonna take it 3-4 holes maybe. I'm not trying to lace, you know, really any drive. I'm trying to lace a tree. You know what I mean? I need to put this thing through the test. I need to get it in the dirt, try some forehands, backhands, big tree hits. And the other thing that also kind of needs to be tweaked, as you can see with the back, we have these stick-up dowels and all these little holes. And we tried to put a pin on the back side of the front plate that would pop through, lock, and hold it in place. But honestly, it didn't work. Now, you don't really need it. This thing is, you know, pretty tight. It's not gonna move, you know, in the air, but you have to get it at the perfect angle for it to twist easily. So still a couple things to iron out, but none of it matters if it can't handle a tree hit, because we all know we hit more trees than we do fairways. Now, before we head to the tee pad, there's one thing that I do want to share with you guys. Now, I started tossing plastic almost a year and a half ago, and I actually put in a good amount of time before I launched the channel to kind of hone in my editing. And throughout that time, I have spent thousands of hours filming, editing, producing, creating the channel to bring you guys the best disc golf content that I can. Because I feel like if I can't give it my all, then I just don't want to make it. Throughout the journey, I've had a handful of people reach out and say, Hunter, how can I support the channel? How can I support you on the road so I can continue to travel and visit and record new courses for you guys? And for the first time, I am finally going to accept them. And the super exciting announcement that I want to share with you guys is I am finally launching a website, tossingplastic.com, and I will have all kinds of info on the channel on there for you guys. I'll have a ton of discs, mostly used discs, but some new as well. And I will also finally be releasing some merch. The point of my channel has always been to keep it very light, a lot of comedy. I'm just trying to smile, give you guys a break from your work life. It's not about me, my skill level, it's just about the courses and the beautiful sport we play called disc golf. And that's why I think a lot of people get caught up into it. And something that I used to say way back in the beginning of the channel is, listen guys, you just need to relax, because at the end of the day, we're out in the woods just tossing plastic. So if you guys want to support the channel, hop on the website. We have 2 different color options and 2 different shirt options. We have the classic dark purple and black, kind of the standard channel colors, Just Tossing Plastic t-shirt with the logo in front. That is what I'm wearing now, but we will also have this kind of lighter iteration, this light purple. It's the same 2 kinds of shirts, just slightly brighter, little different tone. you guys can choose which one you like. The last thing is I'm finally launching YouTube membership. So that is a great way to support me as well. It is a monthly charge. There will be 3 different tiers. This will all be explained in the description, ranging from maybe $5 to $20 a month, depending on how much you want to offer. That entry level will just be $5 a month, and it will be appropriately called Gas for Garetta. Now, that's exactly where the money is going to go, gas for Garetta. Because guys, like I mentioned, thousands of hours into this, and for anybody curious, from YouTube in total, I've made about $650 total, start to back. So if I want to be able to travel again, van life again through the winter to keep bringing you guys content, I'm definitely going to need a little support this go around. And thank you guys so much for being along for the journey. We are going to waste no time jumping into this, and we are going to go to a 320-foot hole, very tight, narrow, touchy tee shot, because we have to put this thing to the test. My ideal situation is if I could kind of mass produce these and offer them on the website to you guys, but yeah, they got to be worth it. I know they got to be worth it. You work hard for your money and you want to get what you pay for. So we're going to jump right into it. This disc is modeled kind of off of like a stable, slightly understable fairway driver. So we're just going to let it rip, test the durability, test everything, and see what happens. Well, there we have it. You know, intentional, not intentional, I'll leave that up to you guys. But we had our first big tree hit there. Immediate tree hit, probably 40-45% power, and our inner plate popped out. Now, you know, it's gonna be hard to fix that, but on the plus side, you can just pop it right back in. So that's not ideally how I would like it set up, but you know, in a couple of seconds, it does pop right back in. So now let's give it a real throw. Holding the ante. Okay, so it got some stability. It has some stability. Now I will say too, I would like to increase the thickness of the rim because it has that second flight plate. There's not a lot of room for the tips of the fingers, so that's definitely something to think about moving forward. We are stuck in a position that we will need our first turnover sidearm shot, and this is not a simple one. We need a lot of turn on this thing, not even too much worried about having stability at the end of the flight. So in this situation, I'm definitely gonna open our vents up, take away some of that glide, take away some of that loft, let it just fall down, hopefully leave ourselves a putt. All right, I don't know if that cut rolled or if we got a putt. It flew pretty good. It wasn't cruising, especially with sidearms. I tendency when I flick them, I go way past the basket. And I know that's a me problem, but I'm sure other people can relate. Now, leading up to this point, everything has just been jokes. What we're all here for is, does it putt? And is it better to putt with the vents open or the vents closed? I would think probably vents closed, but we're gonna find out. Oh. I guess it doesn't matter if I just can't putt in general. I have one more trick up my sleeve, and that is the mini. Yes, we actually do have a mini, and it rotates as well. So we still have one trick up our sleeve to try to knock down this putt. No, you know, I tried. 0 for 3. I'm out of things. I suck at putting. Now, another issue that I'm seeing right away is that dirt can get in between the layers. Again, this is another problem. I'm not sure how we're gonna resolve it, but the testing will continue. We are on hole 1. I think it's 250 feet, dead straight with a strong left finish, but staying straight is your friend. So we're gonna go about 3/4 of the way open. I think if I go all the way open, I might struggle with the distance a bit. So we're just gonna lock it in that 3/4 position and hopefully leave ourselves a putt. Oh, look at that flip. That flipped up beautifully. I'm so bummed we hit that little branch. That worked out way better than I thought. That was one of the best looking flip ups I've ever seen, and I'm bummed because I would have really liked to get an idea of where it would have landed distance wise, because that wasn't a super strong, that was a touchy little flip up type throw, and it worked out great. On the plus side, the disc does not appear to be warping yet. I know it's still pretty early on, but that was one thing I was worried about. We have left ourselves in kind of a tricky, super almost spike hyzer situation here. So obviously we do need to close those vents up, get a little stability back, and hopefully we're just gonna make this. That's the goal. Well, it's not anti-tree. See, if I would have had the anti-tree 3000, we wouldn't be stuck in that tree right now. So I've invented this, the anti-water tree 3000. Bam, what a catch, not a big deal. We have nothing. This is what you call an old-fashioned pitch out here. Or we use it as another opportunity to test our durability. Oh, well, we made it through. We made it through, we have a putt. For the 6, so we are gonna do our final hole on the famous test hole, and you guys know it. To get all the way up to the pin, I think it's probably about 340-ish of distance, 350. Now we saw the beautiful flip up with the vents open. Now that's not gonna go very far because we took all of the glide, all of the loft out of it. So I'm gonna try to get a nice flip up with the vents closed, really try to push for some distance and see what kind of flight path we get. Oh, look at that laser beam. I mean, we cooked that tree. We cooked it, but that flip up, that thing didn't move a foot. I mean, it was just locked in. I am really surprised by that. That was the first time I've thrown that thing with any kind of real power. I would have loved to see it get past that tree. Now we have left ourselves in another sidearm approach situation here, but unlike the last one, we don't want some big lofty turnover shot. So I am gonna leave the vents closed for this one, throw it a little flatter, a little straighter. Hopefully we get a little stability and have a tap in 3. So with that tree hit, that's why I went up there right away, because with that tree hit, the plate did bounce out. Now, could try to make that inner rim a little wider, because we definitely don't want that happening. It sounded weird when it hit the tree, so I don't know. It'll take a little more experimenting, but we're gonna try that one more time. Man, I'm telling you, the Justice is the only disc that I can do flick sidearm shots with. Now, hopefully we can end on a good note and knock down this long putt, probably around 40 feet. Come on. Oh, dang it. I thought we had it that time. And that wraps up today's video testing out V4, our first legitimate prototype of the first flight changing disc. Now, some pros and cons that we learned today. One, this bottom flight plate does like to kind of pop out, and I have a hunch that as this disc gets used more and more, it might start popping out easier and easier. And the other thing I mentioned, dirt in between the layers. As you can see, that is a huge issue because, again, you don't want to be popping this thing out every time you throw it to try to clean it. So we definitely have some things that we still need to figure out as far as this disc goes. Now, the positives are it was a step in the right direction and it does work. It also throws some of the best flip ups I've ever seen. But as you can see on hole 1, I went with the vent open, 3/4, soft flip up, and it did exactly that. It was moving a lot slower. So for those holes that are not super long, that's definitely going to be your best option. But when we pushed it to a much farther hole, same exact throw style, we just closed the vents and just added power and it flipped up and that thing was humming. I think it easily could have got up there to give us a putt. Now, final thing I want you guys to let me know, if I can continue to iron out the tweaks on this thing, if I get it all completely done and I'm happy with it, would you guys be interested in trying one of these, in buying one of these if I could ever mass produce them? That is a long ways away. But the other thing is, would you guys be interested in the minis? Now, this was made as kind of a joke, but literally while filming today, I was thinking, this is like the coolest mini ever, and I could much more feasibly get some of these on the website if any of you guys would be interested. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Now it's your turn to go toss some plastic.